Yo, my good people, my good people. Hello, world. I'd like to welcome y'all back to the show that's hot with your boy Rob Scott. This is Robs2Cents, man. What's going on, man? Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays. Hope everybody enjoyed time with their family, time with their friends. I'm not really one with the New Year's resolution thing because in a week or two, everybody will be back to doing old habits. But if you did make yourself a promise, hope you follow through with that promise. That's why when I get back in the gym, I'm waiting about 2, 3 weeks, so all y'all New Year's resolution people can get on up out of there, and we can get to business, get back to what I was doing. Apologies for the voice. Your boy was down and out over the New Year's holiday, but getting healthier, getting better. And even though my voice ain't where I needed to be, hey, y'all got to get this work. This the first show of 2024, baby. The year of the Mamba mentality, baby. And that's the theme I'm going with. I'm focused this year. We back. We better than ever. Got a lot to talk about, man. I know last time I seen y'all, it was Christmas time. We saw some great Christmas games, especially in the NBA, especially with uh, football. I mean, football been rocking this year. College football been rocking, but in particular the NFL. Seeing the Baltimore Ravens and what they did to the 49ers, that was crazy. Hey, you talking about what my boy Shady McCoy say? Lamar Jackson went out there and put in crazy work. He giving everybody crazy work. And if he didn't tell you that he was the MVP and became the front runner in your book after what he just did to the Dolphins, we're gonna get into that in a second. He definitely made a statement and said, "I am him. I am him MVP." That's the new one. Hey John, I like that one. Him MVP. That's the new name for it. Hey, don't take my stuff, but give me credit when you hear it. Hey, but we got a lot to talk about, man. The Bears finally starting to look good, starting to look like the monsters of the Midway. A little bit too late, you know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather them have late than not show me any progression at all. So, it's a lot to get into, man. We're going to get into all of it. Let's talk about the Bears first. I got to start out talking about the NFL. Got to talk about the monsters of the Midway. We beat the Atlanta Falcons 37-17 after we had a great victory last week. I think we beat the Cardinals last week as well. Justin Fields, man. What can we say about Justin Fields? He's an enigma. Like he's honestly an enigma because he puts you through so many range of emotions, right? You sit here and you watch Justin Fields. Remember watching him early in the season. You like, man, I remember the hype before the season. Let's even go before the season. Everybody was like, "Oh, we got DJ Moore. We finally got a playmaker for him." Justin Fields going into his third year. He gonna make some huge strides and become the quarterback we thought he could be, and that just wasn't the case early on in the season. And our emotions were down. I mean, people were calling for his job. People was calling for Luke Getsy's job. People calling for Coach Matt Eberflus' job. I was one of them. I never called for Justin's job, but definitely the offensive coordinator for me, Luke Getsy. Ain't nothing has changed. Like he got to go now. Eberflus is starting to kind of, you know, get on my good side. I saw a video with him. He got nicknames for all of his players, and he walked through everybody and, hey, what's up, Megatron? Hey, let's go ahead and get that A gap covered. What's up, Cybertron? And whoever their nicknames was, man. And it was great to see that he hasn't lost the locker room. Like he got guys that still rally, under his beck and call as the leader of this team. And it's good to see that. I think Eberflus definitely can see the improvement on the defense, especially bringing Montez Sweat over there to that defensive line, man. And the Bears have been exciting to watch. I get excited to watch the Bears now. You know what I'm saying? Like Fields against Atlanta, 20 or 32 on a day, 268 yards, one touchdown, one rushing touchdown. It seemed to become a good formula that the Bears are using by allowing Fields to use his legs. That is a weapon. And if you can control the run game, look at what they did in the run game. Khalil Herbert, 18 carries for 124 yards, one touchdown. Justin Fields gives you a rushing touchdown. They also got a touchdown from their rookie Roshan. Like you got a recipe for success as a team. The Bears rushed for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's how you play ground and pound football. That's what Chicago is known for. We get our run game established and we play you with defense. Speaking of defense, defense only had 2 sacks, but they had 4 interceptions on the day. Made I forgot the Ritter made him cough the ball up all day. He got to his backup, made him cough up the ball. Like the Bears right now, this is an interesting stat I just read. This was via Google. I just was curious, where do we rank in interceptions? The Bears defense has caused 22 interceptions. So right now, that leads the NFL. So that is showing you that our secondary and our guys, our linebackers are getting the job done. And now you bring in Montez Sweat. We are getting the pressure with that front four. And see what happened when you don't have to throw out so many blitzes. And Eberflus is actually starting to look like a pretty good defensive coordinator. Like I hear a lot of people saying, and this has just been a thing going around, that maybe he should step down as head coach and just focus on the defense as a defensive coordinator. But I'm gonna tell you guys like this: as a person that's in corporate America, you never want to back down willingly from a place of position, not in corporate America. And I get you guys that it's professional sports, it's still corporate America. You never willingly give up your position of power. So if I'm a head coach, I would never back down and step down to become a defensive coordinator. I'm going backwards, not forward. I'm ruining myself because on my resume, when you're interviewing me, you're gonna ask why did I step down, and I tell you I didn't think that I could lead at that time. Well, what has changed? Now you open up a whole new door of questions. And that's what you guys got to think about. See, Rob don't just give you sports, I drop gems. You never step down. Even if the pressure is too much, you find a way to get that shit done. And it's just how it is. With great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben taught me that. That's all I'm saying. So right now the Bears as a whole, they're looking pretty good. DJ Moore, what did I scream since day one? Get your playmakers the ball and let them make plays. 13 targets. Out of those 13 targets, he had 9 receptions for 159 yards and a touchdown. I tell no lies. This is just what I know. It's simple football. Allow your playmakers to make plays. And then also the defense, we already knew before we got Montez Sweat, we were one of the top defenses in the league at stopping the run. And that has continued to happen. Held Bijan Robinson to 75 rushing yards. Now, one of the most beautiful things happened in the stands. I was just telling my boy John this. Talking to my boy Mike Hughes. Shout out to Mike Hughes, man. Right now, this dude has been starting off the year on fire, man. My partner in crime on the Welcome to Mars show. He's already interviewed an Ohio State alum. He's working on some things with MLB with a guy from Fox Network, Fox Sports Network. Like Mike is just making moves. So shout out to him. We talked about this as well, and make sure you guys tune in to us tomorrow for Welcome to Mars, man, our first episode in 2024. Bear with me with my voice, but we got to talk a little bit. The fans in the Chicago Stadium at Soldier Field actually chanted, "We want Fields," because we understand that the last game of the regular season is coming up. We've been officially eliminated from the playoffs, so there's no way that we can make it. And the Bears organization would do something for previous years. Not blaming you, Ryan Poles. This is just what we've been through as a city. They would do something as stupid as let Fields go. They would. They are known for doing dumb things. And when you have a quarterback like Fields, who, as you can see, as long as you can develop him, get him some protection and get him some weapons, he can do the rest. He could be just as good as Jalen Hurts. He could be just as good as Lamar Jackson. Fields is that type of dangerous. If you really watch the game of football, he's what Cam Newton was talking about. He's somebody who can be a game changer where you have to now build defenses around stopping this guy because you never know what he's going to do. Look at what Michael Vick used to do. The great Michael Vick. You had to create defenses, assignments to contain him. You had to know where Michael Vick was at on the field at all times. I believe we got something like that in Justin Fields. He still has some development to do. I get that. He has some developing to do. But at the same time, can you really say that Caleb Williams will be better in this position? Can you really say Michael Penix Jr. will be better in this position? Can you really say that Drake May or Bo Nix or whatever other quarterback you want to think about in college football be in a better position than Justin Fields? I don't think so. Because not everybody has to realize when you watch a football, what happens in college don't always translate into the NFL. Especially too, the Bears have a chance right now to trade that draft pick, still be high in the draft to get Marvin Harrison Jr. You bring in a generational talent like that on the receiving core. Go get a couple offensive linemen. Go out and make some trades and get you some bona fide studs to help out. Sweat on that defensive line, and you got a squad. You're looking at people like New England that needs a quarterback who would gladly take the number one pick and grab Caleb Williams to get from under Mac Jones or Brian Zappi. You're looking at teams like the Atlanta Falcons. They don't know what they have in Ritter. You look at teams like Arizona. Do they really bank on Kyler Murray being their quarterback of the future? There's a lot of questions that are out there in the NFL, and right now the Bears hold the trump card. I think with that number one draft pick, you do not, under any circumstance, get rid of Justin Fields. That's Rob's 2 cents. And I hope you listening to Rob because so far, Rob has been right because that's going to bring me right into my favorite segment, your favorite segment. Everybody want to know who got the realest list in it. You already know I was sportscaster 4 times in a row. I got issues, y'all. Let's get into this segment, man. Bring it to the stage, Rob. Top five NFL teams after week 17. Come on, give me number five. Got to go with the Dallas Cowboys. Defeated the Detroit Lions. Now, I know it was controversial. I know they had a question of ineligible receivers and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys got the dub. And now Dallas Cowboys sit at number one in the NFC East, especially after watching Philadelphia, who's just starting to crumble, lose to the very same Arizona Cardinals that we beat last week. Dak Prescott continuing to shut the naysayers up. You like that word, naysayers, man? If you watch the Pat McAfee show and you hear me say naysayer, you will understand the joke. Shutting the naysayers up with his game, 26 to 38, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dak Prescott has been impressive this year. Now, it's funny. I saw somebody win a bet that he was going to throw an interception. And yeah, Dak could give up an interception or two, but what Dak has not been doing is throwing away the game. And Dak has been letting his playmakers cook because CeeDee Lamb dominated. Had 13 receptions for 227 yards and 1 touchdown. That's one game, ladies and gentlemen. It's some receivers that can't break over 100 yards in one game. He broke over 200 and let you know he still had more yards to go. Brandon Cooks been cooking for them, stepping up where Michael Gallup has lacked. Brandon Cooks has stepped up. 5 receptions for 60 yards and 1 touchdown. Dallas dominated through the air, but they do got questions about that run game. I didn't like the way that what's his name? What's the Cowboys? Oh my God, it's right there on the tip of my tongue, man. I forgot what that guy name was, man. But he didn't. He only had 61 rushing yards on the day, man. It didn't look too good for Dallas in the run game, but luckily Dak Prescott was able to do what he does best, and that's get money. That's gonna bother me now. I gotta go look it up real quick. What's his name? Tony Pollard, my boy. My bad, TP. Couldn't think of your name for nothing in the world, boy. I kept thinking Ezekiel. I'm like, Ezekiel ain't been there 2 years, Lord Jesus. Yeah, but yeah, Tony Pollard's gonna definitely have to run the ball better, especially going into this playoffs. Because you think about teams you're gonna have to possibly play the 49ers, gonna still have to possibly play the Eagles. Got to think about even teams like Los Angeles Rams who have been playing out of their mind lately. Man, these guys have been racking up the W's, man. Y'all better not be sleep on them around, boy. Hey, Stafford said if he get hot at the right time, it's going down, man. Now the game did end in controversy, as I mentioned. We're gonna talk about more on that later because these referees have been just making mistakes after mistakes. But I also gotta say, Dan Campbell, Coach Dan Campbell, I love you, man. You are a great leader. You are a great coach. But when the good Lord above gives you two signs when you're trying to go for a 2 point conversion, all you have to do is kick the field goal, tie the game, take the game into overtime, and then wherever the cards lie, they will lie. But God gave you two signs to go ahead and kick that field goal. You decided not to. You said, God, I hear what you're saying, but I got one more try. I'm going to go for it. And it just doesn't work out for you, man. That's your fault. I'm not going to blame that on the Cowboys, man. You got to bring the deal. You got to seal the deal and bring it home, man. That's why Cowboys are at number four, number five. Coming in at number four, we got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Now I know the Chiefs have just not look like themselves this year. This has not been the Kansas City Chiefs team that we are used to. This has been a team that's just been in disarray. Offense doesn't look like they have any identity anymore. Travis Kelce, somebody put out an APB for Travis Kelce because he been missing. Somebody need to go check Taylor Swift closet or something. Because right now, Travis Kelce is not being the Travis Kelce that I'm used to seeing, man. Luckily for them, Patrick Mahomes is still going to be Patrick Mahomes. He was 21 to 29 on the day for 245 yards, one touchdown. He did have one fumble, but it didn't cost him the game. When have you known the Chiefs to be known for that run game? That boy Isaiah Pacheco had 18 carries for 130 yards in the Chiefs win over the Bengals, man. But Rasheed Rice, that stud, this guy who stepped up to be a valuable receiver for this team, had 5 receptions for 127 yards. But the game basically came down to defense, man. Luckily for the Kansas City Chiefs, their offense has not been what we've been used to, but their defense ain't been what we've been used to as well. And they have been dominating games. Uh, they held Cincinnati to scoreless in the second half. Cincinnati came out firing 17 first half points, zero in the second half. Kansas City Chiefs put their foot down. They said 17 points will be all that you would score today. And basically, the Chiefs were able to win the game by getting in field goal range and kicking your field goals. Go figure. Whoever knew that kicking your field goals will help you win the game. Even though they got so many questions with Kansas City, I still got them as a high ranked team because Patrick Mahomes is dangerous. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. If he retired today, I would probably rank him in the top five of all time position in quarterback. I mean, this is going to be his first time that he hasn't had home field advantage in the playoffs, but yet they're going to make the playoffs. Um, Definitely don't want to ever discredit the combination of Kelsey and Mahomes. And we know these guys can get hot at the right time. And if his team can just stop dropping the passes that he's giving them, they will be they will probably be 13-3 right now. Remember, they against Detroit dropped the pass. Against Philly, dropped the pass. Those are two games that were winnable. So I'm not discrediting or counting out the Kansas City Chiefs because they can get hot at the right time. Coming in at number three, hey, Rob. Oh my God, you were right about the Cleveland Browns. We didn't see that coming, but Rob did. I told y'all, I do this. I'm Robs2Cents. I let everybody know that the Cleveland Browns are for real. Everybody looked at me crazy when I included the Cleveland Browns in my top five. Everybody was saying, Rob, are you really saying that the Cleveland Browns are that good? Yes, I'm really saying that the Cleveland Browns are that good. And I'm telling you guys right now, they're only going to get better because they got my boy, Joe off the couch Flacco. My boy was sitting there in retirement chilling, and Joe Flacco has come in to save the day, playing like the quarterback that they was hoping Deshaun Watson would be. But Joe Flacco has saved the day. Joe came in, man. The Cleveland Browns defeated the New York Jets handily, 37-20. I mean, game wasn't really close all day. They dominated on all sides of the field. Joe shined again, throwing for 3 touchdowns and 309 yards. Jerome Ford had 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown. David Njoku had 6 receptions for 134 yards. Elijah Moore had 5 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown before he left the game due to concussion protocol. They did all of this without Amari Cooper. He gonna be back. He's just dealing with some heel injuries on his foot, and that's good. Let him rest because right now Cleveland has already clinched the wild card spot. They're in the playoffs. They don't need. They can rest everybody on this last game and come in the playoffs with heavy momentum. Right now, the Cleveland Browns has to be one of those teams that guys are looking at on the schedule and hoping that they don't have to fall victim of playing this team in the wild card round because the Cleveland Browns are no joke. They got one of the top defenses in the NFL, led by my boy Myles Garrett. They they only just keep getting better and better, man. The defense, what they gave up also 17 first half quarter points, well first half points, and then they woke up in the second half and they held the Jets to 3 points in the second half. Like that's just and the Jets really haven't done nothing all year. But what I always tell people is when you're a team that's hot and you're a team that's trying to show your dominance, you have to win the games that you're supposed to win. And that's what Cleveland has been doing right now. Right now, they're on a 4 game winning streak. That's how you go into the postseason with momentum going. And when you got that train going, and you see the confidence that this team has in Joe Flacco, telling you, man, that could be a recipe for a Super Bowl. I said it once, and I've said it again. Joe Flacco is used to playing with teams like this. He won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, in which he was just a game manager. They had the best defense in the league, led by Ray Lewis. All he had to do was not throw away the ball. Don't turn over the ball. Get some timely touchdowns, and we'll take care of the rest. This team is looking eerily similar to that Baltimore Ravens team. And don't take for granted that if the Browns and the Ravens do meet in the playoffs, Joe Flacco knows their system. He was a Raven for so long, and that could prove detrimental to the Baltimore Ravens. Don't sleep on the Cleveland Browns, y'all. Robs2Cents kept trying to tell you. They said nobody told us about Cleveland. Rob did. Keep going. At number 2, we got the San Francisco 49ers. My pick to win it all. Now I know that they got dog walked by the Ravens last week, but hey, some days you have bad days at the office. My boy Brock Purdy was able to bounce back from a 4 interception game last week to throwing 2 touchdowns this week with no picks. Hitting, hitting his playmakers, Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel. It's too many playmakers on this team. And I think that, the Baltimore came out, they rattled the cage of San Francisco. But San Francisco, I believe, those guys have the utmost confidence in Brock Purdy, and they're gonna ride with Brock Purdy. Debo went as far as to say that he don't. If Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt last year, he think they win the Super Bowl last year. These guys truly believe in Brock Purdy. It's all gonna be about is Brock gonna believe in Brock Purdy because Brock game is so Purdy. He got the right complementary of stars around him, playmakers. You got the best running back in the game. You guys bring in Chase Young on that defense. You got Fred Warner. You got Nick Bosa. You got Armstead. You got Greenlaw. Do I need to continue? I ain't even mentioned George Kittle yet, who's probably the second or third best tight end in the league. The San Francisco 49ers are going to be A-OK. But everybody got to watch out for number 1. That's the Baltimore Ravens. Because all they do is win, 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 no matter what. And my boy Lamar Jackson is definitely earning all of his bucks because Baltimore has been dominating teams and they dominated the Miami Dolphins, winning 56-19. Now I said earlier at the beginning of this show, Happy New Year to all my new viewers coming in too, baby. It's 2024, baby. If Lamar Jackson didn't convince you last week with how they beat the 49ers that he should be the MVP, the performance and ass whooping that he just put on the Miami Dolphins definitely made that statement. The man threw for 5 touchdowns for 321 yards, and it only took him 21 passes to do it. Not to mention, out of those 21 passes, he was 18 or 21 from the field. Lamar Jackson absolutely put on a spectacle. Zay Flowers had 106 yards for one touchdown. Isaiah Likely, their star-studded tight end stepping in for my boy Mark Andrews, had two receptions for two touchdowns. Gus Edwards had 68 yards and a touchdown on the day. These guys continue to find a way to win, and they are beating teams up with absolutely no problem, no pushback. Lamar Jackson has shown that the Baltimore Ravens finally made a good decision by getting their head out of their ass and paying that man, because that man has came in this season with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. That defense, a lot of people are saying that this defense is the best defense in the league. They sacked two or three times, forced two interceptions and one fumble, and held one of the highest high power offenses to only 19 points. Remember, this is the same Miami Dolphins that hung 70 points on the Denver Broncos, and they held this offense to 19 points. Tua looked like a shell of himself. He got hit all day. Tyreek Hill couldn't break open for those big runs that he used to. Waddle went missing. Only person that showed up was A Chain. And by the time, you could run all day, but if we steady scoring touch, I mean, hell, even what's the backup name for Tyler Huntley? Tyler Huntley came in and scored a touchdown. That shows you it was just the Ravens' day. Now, my thing with the Ravens, like I always say, you got to do it in the playoffs. We've seen this before from Lamar Jackson. We've seen him have an MVP year and get eliminated in the first round, get eliminated in the second round. I don't even want to see you go to the conference finals. You need to make it to the Super Bowl, and that will be a successful season. Those are my top five teams after week 17: Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, Cleveland Browns, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Baltimore Ravens, man. Y'all, let's get to the comments before I keep going. Oh my goodness, I appreciate everybody for jumping on. My boy Mike Hughes, what's happening, baby? Hey, appreciate the love. My boy John, hey, yes sir. He said, what he said? We going for the team? Nah, man, we ain't trying to hear none of that. Hey, what do you say? Can we get a man? Hey, look, I appreciate y'all for looking out. Hey, yep, hey, appreciate you for looking out. The Chiefs is not a top five team, bro. I got the Rams over them. Hey, as long as you got Pat Mahomes, that's a scary team, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Sports Judge, y'all holler at my boy Jonathan Mathis out there doing this thing with the Sports Judge, man. Hey, and who I got in the Super Bowl, man? I'm going with 49ers versus Ravens. Those was my picks coming into the season, and that's what I'm riding with, man. 49ers versus Ravens all day. Hey, we got a little bit left going on in the show. Let's get back to it. And we had so the referees, if you heard me talking about the Dallas Cowboy Detroit Lions game earlier, Brad Allen, who's a referee and his officiating crew, they've been downgraded, meaning that they will not be making any play calls in the NFL playoffs or Super Bowl. Not all of them, just most of them, according to what ESPN has said. Basically, what happened was in the Detroit Lions game versus Cowboys, a lineman called a touchdown, well, called a 2-point conversion, and he was deemed ineligible. Take a look at this video. You can see in this video clearly that the referee, Brian Decker, is there. He goes up to him to let him know, Brad Allen, Taylor Decker goes up and report that he's going to be eligible to catch the ball. And what ended up happening was they mistaked it for Dan Skipper. So now they're thinking Skipper is eligible and Decker is not. Decker ends up catching a pass. Skipper never even walks up to the ref. You have clear video evidence showing these guys letting the referees know that Decker is going to be the eligible receiver. Now, this is not the first time that Brad Allen and his crew have messed up. They messed up in the Green Bay versus Chiefs game when they called a roughing the passer called on a guy, Carrington Valentine, was the Packers cornerback. They called a roughing the pass on him when clearly Pat Mahomes wasn't running out of bounds. He was trying to get more yards. Now, according to the rule, you can hit a quarterback that's on the sideline as long as he's not initiating himself going out of bounds. Pat Mahomes didn't look like he was going out of bounds. He was trying to get the extra yardage. And then in the same game, they called they missed a pass interference call when clearly Marquez Valdez Scanlon was beat up by Packers cornerback Carrington Valentine. So it was crazy. Like it's been blunder after blunder after blunder after blunder, and they wonder why the Chiefs, I mean the NFL now is like they having to downgrade these guys because now you just making it look too bad. Like the Cowboys, we understand had things that they're playing for, but so is Detroit. Detroit's trying to be in second place where they can kind of get home field advantage at least until they meet the number one seed. So you are really interfering in things happening right now, which is why you get the reaction that Pat Mahomes gave them a couple of weeks ago with them making these messed up calls and even though that was the right call, he was offensive offsides. But still, it's like be consistent. If you're gonna call this throughout the game, and you can't miss the blatant calls like with the MVS pass. Bro clearly grabbed his helmet. He was grabbing everything to try to deter him from catching his ball. You can't do that. You know what I mean? So those referees have been downgraded, and we're definitely going to be keeping our eyes to see if any of them will be making any play calls during the playoffs. Also, other news in the NFL, Russell Wilson has been benched. And he came out and he told reporters the truth. Now, Russell Wilson came out and said that the Broncos threatened him in late October that he will be benched for the remainder of the season if he did not agree to adjust his contract and his injury guarantee within his contract. Right now, he's guaranteed $39 million, and that's whether he's on the team or not. He got that money coming in from his contract, but he's also guaranteed another $37 million if he can't pass a physical on the fifth day of the new league year in March. So if Russell Wilson goes in there and he's deemed injured or he's deemed unable to play, he's guaranteed $37 million on the injury clause on top of the $39 million that he's guaranteed just from his general contract. So now the Denver Broncos are trying to mafia up, and they're saying either you won't play and we will ensure that you're healthy, so we don't have to pay you this extra $37 million, and you won't play for the rest of the season, and we're gonna possibly cut you. But if he gets cut, he's still gonna have to get his money. Because his money, I think he got a $245 million contract. 161 million of that is guaranteed, and he is just now getting into his extension. So Russell Wilson definitely about to get the bag from Denver, and they trying to make sure that they can get this money off the books, so they can try to go another team that's gonna possibly need a quarterback. Now, according to ESPN, the NFL Players Association has reached out to the Broncos to let them know that not only are you violating Russell Wilson's rights as a football player, but you're also violating the CBA, which is the uh, uh, collective bargaining agreement. So now you turn it into a legal matter because Russell can now sue. He can sue them for doing it because they had no reason to bench him. Now they can go based off performance and based off yada 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 yada. Russell Wilson ain't been playing as bad this season as people think. Actually, his season this year has been better than it was last year. So, in the words of my boy Ricky from I Love Lucy, Denver, you got some explaining to do. Y'all trying to mob people, and this is what's happening. And Russell Wilson now, remember, you say he's the guy that's smiling and kissing babies and whatnot. He probably got some good lawyers. You see how he negotiated that contract? I ain't never heard of an injury clause. That's that's crazy. That man said you gonna give me 37 million if I go in here and say I can't play. Hey, guess what? I'll be holding my arm out to a bus right now. That 37 million coming. Is you crazy? And also, lastly, while we on football, I got to tell y'all about one of these segments that I love. It's the goofball of the week, and the goofball of the week will be Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper. You know, things have been bad for Carolina. It's been bad for Carolina for a couple years now, and things have finally boiled over. And David Tepper got tired of people talking shit, and he said he's gonna take matters into his own hands. And literally, that's what he did. Take a look at this video on his interaction with a fan. I got it quiet just so y'all can understand the scope of things. You see, just threw his cut. He just walked off. He just walked. Now look at the fan. Look at the fan. Hey, he want to climb in there and go to work. He said, I know this man ain't just throw his drink on me. This the owner sitting in the owner's box out there throwing his drinks on people. Now look, y'all, we're gonna go right back into the video. We're gonna give you a slow motion version of it so you guys can actually see. He threw his drink on this fan and walked away. Look at that. That's the cup. Look how he looking at it. And he throws the cup dramatically and he walks away. He said, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got nothing to say. You keep talking about my Panthers and take this old fashioned to your face. And then you can't do that as an owner. Now, we know if NFL players do stuff to fans, they'll be fined. We just saw that if personnel on teams do stuff to NFL players, they'll be fined and or banned from the sideline. Now, David Tepper might be fined. Of course, we know that fine is coming. He probably knew it was coming. As he was walking away, he was probably calling his accountant and telling him, Zell the NFL, 50,000 because I know I got to pay for this fan. But if I'm that fan, I'm suing for assault. I need season tickets for the next 10 seasons. I need 50 mil. I need something. Because you ain't going to just throw your drink on me and just bounce. You got fined 300,000. My sources are good. Got fined $300,000. To me, that's not good enough because you're an NFL owner and you have to have some type of decorum, some type of discipline. If the leaders of the ship are acting crazy, then you might as well let the inmates run the asylum. And that's something that the NFL does not want to do. Because I'll tell you this right now. If this was David Stern in the NBA, remember what happened to Donald Sterling? Now, I know that was all racism. But remember, I do agree with Shannon Sharp when he say this. When Unc say this, when it comes to punishment or discipline, it has to be swift, it has to be harsh. Because that deters not just the person who making the offense to not do it anymore, that deters anybody else from following in his footsteps. NFL got to do something, man. You can't be going around here throwing drinks on people. Instead of throwing drinks on people, what you need to do is figure out why you went through 6 head coaches since you bought the team in 2018, and 3 of those head coaches has been fired mid-season. Instead of you throwing drinks on your team, you got to figure out what can I do to buy some protection for Bryce Young because my quarterback is getting the hell beat out of him. So David Tepper, before you throwing that drink on a fan who paid their money to watch this football game that you a team that you own, and you show that fan disrespect like that, you sir are the goofball of the week. And I would like to say thank you for your number one pick. Bear down, baby. As we get into the NBA, man, I got to talk to y'all about my boy Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have been going crazy, man. The Thunder are 8-2 in their last 10 games on a 4-game winning streak. They got wins against the Knicks, Nuggets, and Timberwolves. Right now, OKC is number 2 in the Western Conference, right behind Minnesota, and they are looking like they are not going to stop. Shea Gilgis in the game versus LA, even though they lost, man, my boy had 34 points, 7 assists, 3 steals, had 3 turnovers that game, out there balling. Then against Minnesota, had 34 points. He was had 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. That's how you go to work. And then against the Knicks in Denver, had back-to-back games. One game in the Knicks where you go for 36 and 7, and then against Denver goes for 40 and 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and only 1 turnover. And then, even though he didn't play his best game against Brooklyn, still contributes with 24 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, only 1 turnover. This guy has been a scoring machine. Shea Gilgis Alexander been out there going crazy. If you start to look at the leaders in the NBA, he's now moved himself up to third place, leading the league in third place in points per game, 31.2 points a game, and he now leads the league in steals with 2.6 steals per game. This is what you're looking for out of your superstar. And this is what I've been looking for out of these young superstars in the NBA, because we know that sooner or later we're gonna have to bid farewell to LeBron. We know that sooner or later we're gonna have to bid farewell to Steph Curry, and you know these guys are getting older. Who's gonna be those next set of guys that's gonna take over for the NBA? Let's talk about it. Look at what Tatum doing for Boston, and Giannis for Milwaukee. Hell, Joel Embiid out here looking like he trying to win the back-to-back MVP award itself with the ass whooping they putting on the Bulls right now. And even the Bulls, who've been playing pretty well without Zach LaVine, not so well tonight, but they've been, getting some young talent and allowing their younger guys to get some tick, like Dalen Terry. And this guy's been coming in and playing his ass off. And right now, they're not laying down against Philly, and that's what I like to see. Right now, I've been interested in the NBA. I actually went to a Bulls game the other day, and man, got to see my boy Halliburton play for the first time. That kid is something special. Took over in the fourth quarter. Had 20-20 game, 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists. The kid was spectacular, man. I like to see this in the NBA. And if you look at the West, I don't want to start calling this guy young Michael Jordan, okay? I refuse to do that. But if you look at what Anthony Edwards do, I got shown a video compilation of this guy hitting fadeaways, and then they comparing it to Mike. Anthony Edwards is a dog, and we just got to give him, man, his credit. He reminds me of Michael Jordan like 87, 88. Like when he was playing against Boston, giving 63 points to Larry Bird. This is when you saw raw talent. Michael Jordan started putting it all together probably 89. He started to see what he had to do against the Pistons and finally got over that hump in 91. I'm starting to see that from Anthony Edwards now. Like Anthony Edwards is getting to a place where he's starting to put the knowledge of the game with that raw talent. And you start to see that when an NBA player is controlling the pace. That's when you know, okay, they got a grasp of the game and what they can and cannot do, and they maximize what they can do. Like I see him now make people play to his pace in his game. He's not chasing, he's being chased. You look at guys like Steph Curry. You look at guys like LeBron. You look at guys like Tatum, like James Harden in the regular season. Like you look at these guys and you see how they dictate pace and how they make people play the way. You know who's really good at that? Luca. Luca, you can't speed Luca up. He moves how he wants to move when he wants to do. And Shea, Shea Gilders, our SGA, has been doing that. And you can tell now that there's kind of like a changing in the guard. Because we thought what Booker and KD was gonna be, and finally they got Bradley Beal back. We don't know how long these three guys will play together, but we know they still can be dangerous when they're playing together. But they got a different animal in it. I see an animal that I don't see like in a Kevin Durant, that I see in Shea, and that I see in Ja, and that I see in Anthony Edwards. I don't see that animal anymore, and it's okay. We all get older. KD is still not a guy that you won't smoke with. I tell you that. Say what you want to about him. Still one of the most prolific scorers that the NBA has ever seen. Crazy to see that a 7 footer can go to work like a guard, and there's nothing you can do about it. This season has been so interesting. It's been quiet to me because I think after the in season tournament, everybody had to get that excitement down, and now we getting ready to get to All Star Weekend. We know I think All Star Weekend is February 18th, February 16th through the 18th. It's gonna be in Indiana. I might try to slide out there to Indiana. Honestly, it's gonna be busting. But it, you got to think about it now. Once All Star Weekend is over with, now the season begins. Now people ready to start cooking. So I'm definitely interested to see what this season is about to give us, because you don't know. I mean, Milwaukee, they're starting to figure it out. Chris Middleton has been playing better. And I'm pretty sure Dame and Giannis know you gonna need Chris Middleton to win this ring, especially in the East, because Boston is the scariest team in the East. If Porzingis is healthy, that's a hard team to beat, because now he brings you something that they didn't have with Robert Williams III. They can stretch that floor. He can space the floor, and he can finish in the hole. So he's still a 7 footer, and when he cooking and Tatum cooking, that's a hard team to that's a hard team to play. Got Drew Holiday there. Milwaukee doesn't win their ring without Drew Holiday. Again, if y'all just tuning in, bear with me with the voice. Just overcoming a little cold, but show's almost over, man. I just had to give my state of the union on the NBA and where we sit right now. Let me look at the comments before I give my next little shout out. Uh, Hey, you know what? I appreciate that. Watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. David Burns, I appreciate the love, brother. Say the lineup for Chicago working Nemo's size off the bench through the knees and be addressed before the deadline for sure. Still can't believe Luca put up 50 points against the Rockets. That was amazing. Man, Luca, didn't he put up 50 in Christmas too? I thought Luca put, yeah, man, Luca's something ignorant. That's my dude right there. And I love when he was had the little battle with Chris Dunn, and he told the refs he just mad because I'm busting his ass. I said, yeah, that's the NBA I miss. Talk your shit, Luca. Hey, but nah, man, all serious, the NBA though is looking like it's gonna be an interesting second half of the season. Even the Bulls right now, man, we moved up to we're in the top 10 now. So we at least make it to the play in, if all hell doesn't break loose. Now I know Levine is talking about he want to come back, and I think Levine understands that his draft stock is significantly low. Like, because you got to think about it now. It's not draft stock, but trade stock. Because you got to think about it. The Bulls have started to win without him. So now teams are now looking and say, well, maybe you are the toxic one. Maybe you are the cancer, because of look at the elevation and the evolution of Kobe White and what he's been doing. Could potentially be an all-star this year if he ramps it back up. He needs to ramp it back up because he's been off a little bit lately. But he ramps it back up. It's gonna be hard to kind of say that Kobe White doesn't at least deserve his name mentioned. Look at Debo, steady being a veteran leader that holds the ship down. We definitely missing Vucevic due to our lack of size, but even Patrick Williams has been hooping, and everybody knows I had a problem with the Bulls and drafting Patrick Williams. Like you don't waste the fourth pick in the draft on a bench player. If you riding the bench in college, I'll pick you in the second round. That's just how I think and how I operate. But this guy's really been going in the form, and I hope to say that he proved me wrong. Don't prove me right in the situation. Prove me wrong. So NBA is definitely interesting, and I'm gonna make sure, especially now that football is starting to get down to the nitty gritty, and playoffs are gonna be starting soon. Definitely gonna be keeping my eyes on the NBA. Before we get up out of here, want to give a shout out to the Michigan Wolverines who defeated the Alabama Crimson Tide 27-20 in an amazing overtime thriller. That was a great game to watch. Also in the Sugar Bowl, the Washington Huskies defeated the Texas Longhorns, also in a close and exciting game, winning 37-31. Washington and Michigan are going to be facing each other in the college playoffs. I just got to say, as far as this game, the college football committee got it right. Um, a lot of people have problems with FSU, Florida State University, being left out, considering the fact that they finished the season undefeated. Um, and they felt like Alabama got in there due to them beating Georgia and the politics that come with the SEC conference. Let's just say this: FSU got destroyed by Georgia in their bowl, 63-3. Like Georgia just became the second team in college football history to beat a team in back-to-back years by 60 points. Your name, your university is tied with that. And you were talking about suing the committee because you didn't make the playoffs, and that is the performance you give. Look like the committee got it right to me. And then there's no offense to Florida State University, but you got to remember, don't even have your starting quarterback who broke his leg. So they didn't expect you to do anything against Alabama, against Michigan, against Washington, or against Texas. Hell, because you definitely didn't even pinch Georgia. So sometimes we just need to understand that business is business, it's never personal. And that's my show, ladies and gentlemen. Before I leave you guys, I always like to show my video of the week. And my video of the week this week is gonna come from a snippet from the Redeem team. This is the year 2024, and I'm calling it the year of the Mamba. I going to make sure I focus and I keep a Mamba mentality. As you guys know, Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. So in honor of Kobe Bryant being my favorite player, this snippet actually shows you why I think Kobe is better than LeBron, and that Jordan is 1, Kobe is 2, LeBron is 3. Check out this snippet, from the Redeem team.
And he did like this.
Kobe Bryant, stripped by Rubio. Kobe Bryant takes it back. Inside pass to Howard for the slam.
This last 8 minutes and 13 seconds.
It's one game, so that means there's plenty of players out here who are nervous. That they're feeling the pressure much more than I am. Like, I'm ready.
Wave to Kobe Bryant. Bryant on the drive. Tough shot. Gets it to go.
Kobe Bean, Mr. Fantastic coming to save the day. I was nervous.
98-92. Another three. Kobe Bryant gets it to go.
It seemed like the best basketball on the planet being played.
Fernandez drives inside. Oh, slam! And the foul.
I feel like these fighters won't go away.
5-point game, 104-99.
Back to that zone defense. Who's going to knock down a shot for the United States?
For some reason, whenever those moments came, end of games, close games, big shots needed to be made, it's like you just zone out. The crowd's not there. Once I drove through the zone, I hit Cole. Cole caught it jam.
Hooks up the three. It's good.
And he turned and he did like this.
That just gets you fired up, don't it? They just get you fired up, don't it? See, that need for Kobe. See, a lot of people don't know, unless you watch the actual Redeem team, which is a documentary they got on Netflix. It's great. Like I'm a fan. Like I love the Dream Team documentary when that came out. But when I saw the Redeem Team, I was just like blown away. Not to mention that Kobe's my favorite player, but to actually find out the politics behind that and what went into Coach K recruiting Kobe. Like he knew he had a prime LeBron, a prime Wade, a prime Chris Paul, a prime Melo, Boozer, Bosh, Dwight Howard. He knew he had a team, but he needed a leader. Who's going to be the guy that comes and hold not only themselves accountable, but everybody on this team accountable? I'm not just telling you to go in the gym at 4 in the morning. When you come in there, I'm already on my second rep. I'm showing you, like so many people won after 2008 after watching Kobe. Wade had already won. He won his second ring and third ring with LeBron. LeBron getting his first two after playing with Kobe. Bosh getting his first two after playing with Kobe on that Redeem Team. It just shows you the level of thinking and the mentality you have to be a winner. Because Coach K knew I'm not going to win this without Kobe. Because Kobe kept this team calm when chaos was there. Because Kobe had been there and done that. He's a three-time champion coming in there, fresh off a finals loss to the Boston Celtics. He know. I mean, even Paul Gasol joked. Paul Gasol played for Spain, and Paul Gasol said at the beginning of the Lakers season, he walked to his locker room, opened his locker, and Kobe had a picture of the gold medal that he had just beat him for in his locker. Not a picture of the gold medal. I'm sorry, he had the actual gold medal in his locker. And Kobe and Gasol went to Kobe and said, "Man, you're an asshole." And Kobe broke it down to him. He said, "We just lost to the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Your team just lost to me in the FIBA games for the gold medal. Let's not make it three losses in a row." Ooh, I just get fired. I get fired up thinking about that. Let's not make it three losses in a row. And what did the Lakers go on to do? They won a 2009 NBA Finals where they beat the Orlando Magic and won the 2010 NBA Finals where they had their rematch with Boston and Kobe got the job done. This is the year of Kobe, y'all. This is the year of Mamba. Whatever you want to do, focus and do it, but just don't lie to yourself. If you're not going to be consistent with it, if you're not going to put the work in, don't even get started. Because ain't no such thing as a halfway crook. You either do it or you don't. And that's my show, ladies and gentlemen, man. This should be your boy Rob, man. Speaking truth, speaking facts, giving you all of that. Man, I hope you guys have a great new year, man. Hope you guys push yourselves further than you ever thought you can be pushed and you gain things that you never thought you can gain. Man, just know if ain't nobody rooting for you, Rob rooting for you. Because at the end of the day, I hustle and our dream is all that we got until we can make a profit for us. I'm just a prophet looking for profit. That's all it is. Let me stop it. I got bars. I love y'all, man. Let me get to the comments before I get out of here, man. Hey, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for tuning in. Got a fan in Texas, man. You see that, man? New Year's already starting off right. Got people all the way in out there down south at the Big T showing love, man. And I got love for y'all, man. Hey, like I said, man, continue to grind. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow with me and my boy Mike Hughes. Be coming out with the Welcome to Mars, the Mike and Rob show, our first show of 2024, where we're going to be giving you everything NBA, baby. You know I got nothing but love for y'all, baby. And you all, I hope you have a great night. And you already know the slogan, baby. We home.
There's a bigger fight going on. There's a much bigger agenda than the streets. And I know sometimes it's hard to see that far in front of us. But we have to look past the illusions, look past the delusions of grandeur, and look at the bigger picture. We need to become better versions of ourselves each and every day. Fight for what you believe in. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. We just getting started, baby. You guys know the slogan now. Hope you all have a great evening. And we gone.